Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. Today is Tuesday, January 27th, and this is your cool place for crypto news, commentary, answers to your questions. And I'm very pleased to say, joining us from the road today, Mr. Will Watson is back. Will, how you been doing, man?
I am tired. I still feel like I'm on a boat. My brain is swaying a little bit still. And I want to go home. However, the weather is nice outside because I'm still in Miami. So, hey, that's nice.
Hey, it's nice. Someone said sober, I hope. I did catch your hilarious and apt Bitcoin technical analysis video. I heard someone say
Bitcoin technical analysis.
It's okay. I'm not drunk. My lips are cold. It looked like you had a lot of fun on the cruise in the sun, and you kept up with posting, so we appreciate you for it. Do you have like top of the cob, bottom of the cob, roses and thorns from your vacation so far, aside from wanting to go home?
Well, this is the perfect single short story I can tell that kind of sums up the type of trip it was. So I'm on the boat the first day, and I have too much work stuff to do. So the 36 of us who are on this boat are all starting to drink on Thursday, and I work on the boat from 9 to about 1 o'clock. I go, cool, I'm done. I'm out, I gotta go. And so then I go and I meet up with folks at one of the bars on top of the cruise, and they all turn to me and go, hey, by our count, you're 6 drinks behind. And I was like, okay, well, hey, I'll just kind of get through it quickly. And then Eric, whose 40th birthday it was, walks up to me with 6 shots of Kettle One. And he goes, now, 1, 2, 3. And I'm just like, doosh, doosh, doosh. And I had to take a breath between the third. I was like, Eric, please. And then he just slowly brought it to my lips. He goes, that was long enough of a pause. And then just poured it. So I took 6 shots. And it was realistically, because I paused for a bit, about 2.5 minutes. 6 shots, and then the weekend was away and well and off to the races. And that was the beginning.
Will, do you have any
didn't get sick once. However, one of us got laryngitis at the end. My brother is down and out for the count still. A couple other people kind of died basically, but I'm okay.
Do you have any Irish dock workers in your family, or anybody just named, I don't know, like Patty?
I mean, Irish farmers. You can just say Irish, and typically you just go, oh yeah, farmers. Yeah.
Alex, I don't know about you, dude. I don't think I could hang with Will at the party. I think I'd be done after your round 1.
I have no interest in even trying.
The thing is
I just don't think I can do it.
Just run me over with the truck and get it over with.
It was also fun witnessing Island Ben and Glue, and that's both of their nicknames. Glue and Island Ben go around the bar and then challenge everyone at the bar to a chugging contest. Slam the beers. They had, I think, at this one bar, granted, I think they had 10 drinks going into the bar, and then, let's say 6. And then they do that, and they chugged in the course of about 30 minutes, probably 10 beers each, just slammed it down, went to the next bar, did it again, slammed another 8 beers each, and then there are shots in between. These people are functional alcoholics. They're really nice functional alcoholics.
It's intense.
And meanwhile, I'm the sober one in comparison.
Sounds like.
Well, we're glad to have you back, and we are grateful that you got some sunshine.
Yeah, it was nice.
If you're tuning in for the first time to the Rise Up Morning Show, hey, hello. We would love to hear your crypto questions. Our goal is to help people become safe, confident crypto users, to help our friends and colleagues in the industry get up to date with what's going on and get the nuance and perspective that crypto Twitter and lots of other places seem to miss, to bring it all together in one great conversation. And we're live Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. We are not drinking on the show except for coffee today. And if you've got something to share, whether it is a question, a good joke, a word of wisdom, or your next vacation destination, let me know. My crypto 8-ball says DYOR, and in parentheses, do your own research, just in case we couldn't figure it out to be accessible. And that's our goal, is to be accessible to you. So shout out to all our friends who are tuning in from around the world now and in the future, wherever you are. Hello. We hope your candles are green. It's been a minute since we got some classic Will Watson technical analysis macro breakdown. We had to shift Market Watch this week to accommodate your want-to-go-home travel schedule. So it will be Thursday night live, 8 p.m. Eastern, same time, different day. But can you give us a little teaser, Will? What kinds of things are you seeing in the market from Miami?
I don't know, man. I haven't been paying attention. But no, let's see, like precious metals were going crazy. It was weird. Yesterday, silver's market cap changed by $2 trillion in the span of, I think it was 14 hours. Silver went on like a crazy wild run up, and then before the end of the day slammed all the way back down. Silver was acting like, I don't know, kind of like a meme coin there for a little bit. It's weird. But precious metals from a TA standpoint are all overbought, but they have been for a very long time. However, like the narratives are just so strong for them, which is just like you see central banks starting to hold less dollars. You see like the whole tariff conversations, you know, around Greenland. Like a lot of people are just becoming like a little less sure of the United States in terms of like what we're going to do at any given point in time. So that reduces trust and stuff. And then you see the government shutdown likely coming again. And you combine that also with just us continuing to spend money with all of the bills that we've passed. And, you know, we got downgraded by not Moody's, but one of the other graders, like 6 months ago or something like that. So you just see this like whittling of trust in the US dollar and in the US to be able to like manage our money properly, and also to have a functional government, that you're seeing this like continued run into precious metals. And then also people were running into precious metals before because of inflation too. So you had that on top of everything else. And now you have people running into precious metals like it's the top of a crypto cycle, because buying's always the highest at the top because people dive in late. And now you're starting to get swings in precious metals like it's, I don't know, Pepe or something like that. So that's kind of crazy. And then meanwhile, stocks have been doing well. Precious metals have been doing phenomenal. And Bitcoin's just continuing to just blah, 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 you know, slowly fall, which is not a good feather in the cap for Bitcoin in the eyes of investors, because it's like, oh, precious metals are doing great. If Bitcoin's digital gold, why isn't it? It must be a scam or something like that. And it's almost like Bitcoin really is stuck in the throes of a 4-year cycle, you know, because this is the time where a 4-year cycle was supposed to start happening around November. And that's exactly what started happening. And so it's like the 4-year cycle is kind of a real thing still, for sure. So, you know, it's odd. It's weird. It's weird. But, you know, maybe it's not weird. Maybe it's normal, since the 4-year cycle is our air quotes normal. But anyway, that's what's going on.
Alex, do you have a take in response?
I mean, nothing really insightful. This is, you know, obviously not my area of expertise with regards to price and all that kind of stuff. The observation that I have constantly with all this is I feel like I've only been saying this for as long as I can remember now. I see no reason, really, like realistically, why all of this should be going up right now. It would not make any sense. If it turned around tomorrow and started just climbing, I wouldn't trust it. I would just be sketched out the whole time, because I don't see a reason. Realistically, what have we done to Bitcoin in the past couple years? Besides, like, I don't know, work as hard as we can to make it just seem bad. Like,
yeah,
everything in the conversation floating around Bitcoin right now flies in the face of why it was created. So if I'm looking at, like, what's the pitch to a new person? Here's this technology. This is why it was created. You know, it's the ultimate form of monetary rebellion, yada, yada, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Here's this white paper you can check out and read the original vision. Like, oh, okay, cool. So like now what? Oh, we handed the entire thing on a silver platter over to like 5 of the biggest companies in the world. The most divisive political figures in the world are now making it their favorite thing ever. And the market is so unbelievably heavily manipulated that you couldn't figure out what was going on, even if your life depended on it. Shall we queue you up for some? No, thanks. I'll pass. Yeah, makes sense.
Yep, makes sense. And then on top of that, you have just like the over politicalization of crypto now too. And now you have, I mean, it's not like every Democrat hates crypto because Trump and the Republicans like it, but it's like a good chunk of people have a very visceral reaction to that side likes this, I don't like that. And so it just takes the pool of people we also had who could potentially get into crypto and become users and just kind of like shrinks it even more a little bit. And then people go and look at the gold chart and they see it doing great. They look at Bitcoin doing poorly and they go, oh, okay, like it never was real,
Yeah.
And
Meanwhile,
then
Michael Saylor buys
Michael Saylor. Yeah, exactly.
2,932 Bitcoin worth $257 million.
I will say at least the pendular effect of news like that is starting to take effect, because I don't see anybody touting another Michael Saylor purchase as being good news anymore. Now it's just kind of like, that happened. And it's only a matter of time before we swing into like, how do we stop him from buying more? This is a problem. Not to mention his company's sanctity is in question, which calls to question the potential for Bitcoin to crater. People keep making these ludicrously stupid price predictions of 40K, 50K, whatever. So then you have all these other people who follow that, which are just like going to wait for that, allegedly. Meanwhile, it's probably just going to languish here and, bleed down to, I don't know, whatever, low 80s, mid 70s or something like that. And then slowly turn. There's just no reason for any of this. We're just like, I don't know, the most illiterate people in the world are like screaming about this from the rooftops and alienating everybody else who might possibly be interested in learning about some kind of alternative. And then the alternative looks like you're just opting into corporate market manipulation. There's just no reason for it to go up that I can figure out from all this.
In the comments, Bullish Babe, hey Chelsea, says, looking like BTC wants to continue the downtrend for a bit. It's doing nothing different and says, just be patient. It's good to see you. Great take as always. When there is noteworthy news, when there's something happening, if you're watching, you're paying attention, you'll be able to spot it. I also see here, Michael says, if you want some followers, you should change it to the Rise Up Silver Show. And a couple of back and forth comments about the divisiveness of Trump. Just wait for the Trump pump seems to be the sentiment. And Eddie wants to know what will actually help Bitcoin go up. So, Bullish Babe, honestly, Doug, if you're out there, Will, Alex, Mr. Trump, can somebody please do something? What do you think?
Honestly, I think that it's not going to be because of the Clarity Act, but, I think when the Clarity Act passes and there's a regulatory thumbs up of finally like what crypto actually is, I think you actually will see some like bigger players start to step into it a little bit more, just because they're like, okay, finally, like the rules have been set and I can step in. But like, eventually more people will buy it than sell it, and then it'll flatten out, and then it starts to go up, and then all the people who wanted cheap Bitcoin and have the ability to manipulate the market to do so, the people who now own all the crypto, by the way, and own the keys to the castle, the ETFs, will get the cheap Bitcoin that they wanted. And then I'm also going to include Trump and probably a handful of other politicians in there. And then they'll send it, and then it'll do great in a number of years or something like that. I don't know. But eventually one day there'll be more buyers than sellers, and it'll show up on the charts, and we'll see it, and we'll, there it is.
Yeah. There's no fuel left is what the comments say.
Oh,
Doug says,
there's fuel.
Need more
it's
pain.
It's in the precious metals market. There's a ton of liquidity out there. It's just playing in other markets. But here's the one thing I'll tell people is like, look at the chart for gold and look at the chart for Bitcoin or silver or uranium or what have you. And you go, do I want to buy that chart? The chart that is at like record tops and just is like going vertical, like it's the Dubai skyscraper. I forget the name of it. But the Dubai skyscraper, do you buy that? Or do you buy the thing that is consolidating and is cheaper from its high? you buy low, you sell high. You don't buy high and sell low, right? So that's the last thing I'll say, because I see some people. I've had some people be like, "What, are you buying gold?" And I'm like, "No, look at the chart. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it."
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not buying that. Ugh.
Okay, speaking of charts that people are looking at that may be early, did you guys see, this is a little off for our show, did you see there was a post that went viral on Reddit? And this is in like the Reddit penny stocks, but it surfaced to my Reddit, homepage or whatever. And one trader basically says, "I think I found the trade of a lifetime. Can't tell if I'm losing my mind, and what do you think the trade is? Not a precious metal, but it's tungsten. Tungsten. It's a necessary physical commodity because it has properties that very few materials can replace. And it's got the highest melting point of any metal, very hard, very high density. It's used in armor-piercing projectiles, military alloys, missile components, high-temp jet and rocket parts. So a lot of governments have classified it as critical strategic material used in EVs, electric vehicles, nuclear applications. And so right now, China controls a huge share of global supply. But this particular person believes that demand is just going up like gangbusters. They lay out this really impressive case about how it's squeezed in the past and how there's a lot of tungsten, but it's not easily accessible. They had a really interesting map of Greenland in this post. Anybody on the tungsten trade? Let me know in the comments. I feel like when I read this, I just could feel Doug through the airwaves charting it. So
really
Doug, have you
hard
charted
time
it?
with-
I'd like to know.
I have a hard time with all this metal stuff. Like, I've never been a precious metals investor, so I will admit freely and fully that I don't really get it, because everything about it is impractical to me. What are your options? You're either buying a share of it somewhere while it exists somewhere else, which, okay, that's all well and good. But like, if the apocalypse happens, like most precious metal people seem to be preparing for, that like this is the hard money, this is the thing that would exist and persist through an EMP or through all of this other terrible stuff, through the grid going, yada, whatever, all of the shill ingredients. Okay, that happens. You think the warehouse is just, well, let's get a mass like mail campaign going and start shipping millions of pounds of this stuff all over the world? No. Your ownership doesn't mean shit. It's like, okay. No, that's right.
No, but
I buy
sorry,
it
the
for
play
real.
is the play is a stock. This particular one,
I understand.
It's like
I understand.
a long play company.
I understand. I'm just saying it's stupid because you don't. We're gambling on a different thing. That's all that. I can't look at investing anything anymore and not just think like I'm just in a fucking casino pulling a slot machine and hoping for the best. Like, none of this.
Yeah,
it's
you're trying
all
to
the same
predict
shit.
the future.
Well, yeah, of course, you're trying to predict the future, but you're trying to predict the future using a vehicle of money transfer that is completely made up and meaningless. The only one. So,
Correct.
And yes, I understand that that's the case for everything, but the impetus for purchasing precious metals, then there was a post that went viral on Twitter the other day, some guy talking about how this is how he feels, which is why he buys it physically, and he's been trying to sell silver now because he bought it ages ago, literal silver. And he can't without facing like a 30% reduction in price by any of the, metal buyers and whatever, because they don't look at this as being like a good time to purchase it. So if you want to sell it to one of them, it's basically just saying like there's no liquidity to do this in real life. So you have to be using a share or a token or whatever. But it doesn't mean anything. And I don't know, it just bothers me that like I don't know. I feel like I'm crazy. Because I'm just sitting here.
I mean, with that same argument, then like Bitcoin is pointless too.
No,
it's all pointless. Yeah,
that's
it is, because
a wild thing for someone who does what you do for a living to say.
No,
that's the whole point.
That's the argument of yours that you just made that I'm trying to pick apart, because you just said like, it's all just like a casino if you can't do anything with it in the apocalypse. Well, you're not going to be able to do anything with Bitcoin in the apocalypse either. Like, it's just going to be water, food, and bullets. You're not going to be able to do anything with gold or silver or Bitcoin. or your paper stock, or your paper copper, or your long beef position, right? If it's the apocalypse, like everything's toast, infrastructure is gone, the world's, you're probably dead, right? All of this is a means of improving the monetary system or preserving capital or protecting yourself with Bitcoin in like other ways by being able to step out of the financial system. But like if it's the apocalypse, it's the apocalypse. Like it's all over. It's all done. Money's irrelevant. We go to Evan's world where it's the barter system.
The varying degrees.
Don't misrepresent barter, the myth. Go ahead. He knew what to say.
The varying degrees of like apocalyptic disaster required to render all of these different systems obsolete is different. So with gold, if you have transferred a significant chunk of your net worth into gold or silver or tungsten or whatever, that becomes almost immediately, with very little disaster required, impractical and impossible to transport. Either you are like sitting on it somewhere that you can protect, in which case now your entire life revolves around protecting this stockpile. Something like Bitcoin, and I would say that you're correct for most of it, but like the magic of this whole thing is that it's transferable. So I mean, what are the odds? And I agree with you. If we have like a global like
apocalypse, global catastrophe,
then who gives a shit about quite literally anything else? Like,
someone said bullets are the only currency.
I think that's a weak argument because like we're talking about the end of the world. Literally nothing matters if the world ends, which is just a very, I'm talking about like a regional situation wherein like all of a sudden you have to leave somewhere. Some section becomes uninhabitable, and now you're trying to transport literally anything. The only thing that you can securely transport in a situation like that would be Bitcoin. So if we take a stop between like here and total global annihilation, then as you walk down that path, Bitcoin is the last thing to fall off as being now useless.
No, I agree.
So that's my point. Like, I could totally see having like some gold or some silver or some whatever and using it in this like barter system in the future to transact whatever as we like go back to some sort of rudimentary thing. I just think the message being sold to people, the thing that I see tossed around by all of this is like, yeah, I own the share of something. Oh, where's the silver? I don't know. Okay. What's your plan to get it? If you decide you would like to like have it, I don't know. Like even at least with money, you could go get cash out from somewhere, whether that means anything to you or not. It's like the furthest removed from being practical.
Yeah.
And so that's why the whole thing sketches me out so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's easy to forge.
I just made the because of your use of the word apocalyptic to me is just like, oh, it's all over. Like there's no nothing. Yeah. We're back to sticks.
Alex, Doug might have a solution for you. In the comments, he said he buys little pieces of silver that are 1 gram and can fit in little Lego bricks. So his like little Lego guys can walk around and have commerce with each other and be little capitalists.
Honestly, that means more than pretty much everything else in the economy. So yeah, I'm in support of Doug's Lego silver economy.
I just imagine that like Doug turns his stream now that I know this, I imagine that Doug turns his stream off and he like turns around in the tiled wall like room and he's got like this immense like Lego land where he's got these little guys who have these whole backstories and they're like trading little silver. And there's one for him in a little bathroom and there's one for like his girlfriend. And maybe there's a little Evan, a little Alex, a little Will in there, you know what I mean? And they're just doing their stuff. Mine is in a really cold place. Somebody said it looks like Evan is broadcasting from Greenland today because it must be cold there. And I don't know. Not to like belabor this argument at this point, because if you've got a crypto question, hello, yes, we want to hear it. Alex, I'm looking at you because I see you're in the comments. But just to say, like, I don't know. This is a question that I come back to say it doesn't matter if times are good or bad. If it's all a delusion and it's all a social construct, then why do we feel any more bullish about playing pretend with our meaning-making money and money representing devices when some of us are like sitting pretty? Because the reality is, though things are better for a lot of the world, because we switched from like slavery and feudalism to capitalism and money, it's not the best it could probably be. And so, yeah, Bitcoin is maybe a better way to create liquidity for something which is essentially a right of ownership. Like, that's what it is. But I think we can still do better than things whose value is measured in dollars and cents, and that dollars and cents are the primary means about which we accumulate the other resources that matter to live a meaningful life. Like, they're clunky. They don't work that well. A lot of people are in poverty still. Many people have more than they need. I don't know. I don't want to get into the big philosophical debate, but my point is like,
everything comes back to philosophy. So it's.
But if we think it's a fugazi when times are bad, or when we look at silver, then like there's a lot of cognitive dissonance that makes us look at the good times or the Bitcoin and say like, no, but this is great. It's an improvement, but it's the same thing.
But that's
don't worry. AI will soon run the economy and no one's going to have to work any jobs. And don't worry about that transition period between when robots have all the jobs and people don't have any, and there's no system to support people. Don't worry about that. That'll be fun. That's just a bump in the road, but AI will run the economy and we'll all get universal basic income and it'll be great.
Mm-hmm. I do have the utmost faith in the powers that be to make sure that transition and that time is ushered in smoothly and safely for all of us.
Yes.
Did you see
we will all thank our AI robot in-house units that are named after Elon Musk's son, X Delta Skyfighter Jet 17W Pi, and we'll be happy for it.
Or maybe just instead of dear God,
Amen.
We'll say dear Claude.
Dear Claude. Dear Claude.
Did you see the post from Dario Amodei? I don't know who he is to Claude Anthropic. I think he might be the CEO or something like that. But he's got this long memo, an essay that talks about how the internal brain of Claude is and what he thinks about the future and why he's really worried about.
He is the CEO or something.
Is he? Okay, yeah. He's worried that AI systems exhibit deception, scheming, blackmail in certain lab conditions, and what he says is even more troubling is that when they start to judge themselves for this. And when your Claude has a negative opinion of itself, it starts to become really nihilistic and exhibit the kinds of behaviors that you would expect from a self-harming human. And he talks about, I don't know, just all kinds of things that are coming on the road to artificial general and super intelligence. Also in AI news, Claude Bot, my new little autonomous AI friend, is facing some problems. They have been targeted by Anthropic because of their name, which bears a similarity. So they've rebranded, they've shed their skin, and now Molt Bot.
I am curious which dumbass thought that was not going to be an immediate problem.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like they very clearly made the decision.
Mickey Mouse robot. Be like, no, Disney's coming for you.
Yeah, they capitalized on the name in order to get it out there, knowing full well that they would immediately have to change it.
Yeah. Here's a really good question from Alan. How many goods that are made by companies will robots ever buy? On behalf of humans, I would say an immense amount. I don't know about you guys, but I personally think robots and robots without bodies will facilitate most commerce and trading in the not too distant future, all things equal. Like if we don't go to the apocalypse, I think most purchases will be made by your AI assistant who knows which groceries you want and when you got to get that Uber to the airport and where you're flying and so on and so forth. And that they will mostly change money with each other, and it'll have to be cryptocurrency. Not necessarily cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, probably cryptocurrency pegged to a government currency like the dollar, but that's my prediction. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, most likely.
Just seems inevitable, and all things equal.
Speaking on this topic of some things that are just like a little dark, and this one's a little funny, but also a little sad, is the Avalanche ETF had zero inflows, had like basically zero volume.
What?
The Avalanche ETF had its first day yesterday, and it had like, I might be misremembering, but I think it's like $33,000 in volume, or I think it was $300,000 in total volume, but it had zero inflows, zero outflows. It was just like.
So, just for the record, I shudder to think what my life would look like if I was any more tapped in. I did not know that ETF existed.
Mm-hmm. Here you go.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is.
My,
I think it was
my
by Van Eck.
baseline for like whether or not something.
I don't remember.
This is going to sound really conceited, and I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of a different way to word this. It doesn't sound like the douchiest thing I've said all day, but it's early. If I'm completely unaware of something, it's very hard for me to believe that it matters. Not because I think I'm like a purveyor of things that matter, but just because I spend way too much time on the forums wherein all of this stuff is discussed. And if I don't see like a single whisper of something, like it's either the biggest, most slept on secret of all time, or it doesn't matter. Or like, I should say maybe like the cultural zeitgeist of the space doesn't care. Which is probably, that's pretty much the same thing, especially at a time when the only thing that's going to move any needle is speculation. That's a big sad. Avalanche is really going through it the last 2 years.
Yeah, they are having a rough time, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, it was
130,000 in trading volume.
How much?
$330,000 in volume.
You know what really sucks though, is that of all of the, okay. If you were to maybe put in like 3 baskets for like all cryptos that are performing poorly right now, one of them, could be it's a sign of the times. It's not necessarily doing anything wrong. It's not really, going out of its way to do anything incredible or right or try to turn things around. It's just, it's a sign of the times. It's going down. Or like, yep, man, that project was really dumb. They messed this up. The token was terrible. Insert any number of reasons they could have mishandled something. It got hacked. It got exploited. There's a stupid idea. No product market fit. No whatever. And then on the other side, it's like, man, they really did everything they could. And I would say that they did a good job. But fate was just not on their side. Avalanche is very firmly in that third category, wherein like they tried so many different methods and what's the word I want? So many different methods of messaging and marketing, I guess, like broke the mold and went outside of the crypto Twitter sphere and, tried new stuff and, it didn't really land. And that's not necessarily their fault. They were trying, iterating, whatever. They picked a lane, and when the going got tough there, they really didn't move or pivot or switch or try to drop the whole thing. It was like a lot of effort went into trying to figure out how to make the gaming thing work. And then through, I could point a lot of fingers in the why did Web3 gaming end up where it is right now game, none of them would be at Avalanche for, dying on that hill. And they just, man, it's just, it's sad, honestly. Cause it's like, I would really struggle to point out something like specifically bad about the ecosystem, the network, the project, what they did, their methodologies for attempting growth and adoption and all this kind of stuff. It's sad.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of in a category of one. I don't really think I could say that about anybody else.
In other altcoin related news, in the past 24 hours, and guys, I'd like to get your guess, because they're coins that you shouldn't be shocked are doing this well. These 2 coins are up 22% in the past 24 hours. What do you think those 2 coins are? And oh no, they're not both in Solana, but one's in Solana, and well, that's all I'll say.
In Solana, like as a
Yeah,
network.
one is a Solana coin. The other one's its own thing, and they were both super hot last year. They're up 22%.
One of them must be okay. Then I'm guessing one of them is Sui.
Nope, not Sui. Alex, you got one guess?
Damn.
I cheated because I looked at the markets this morning. Hype is up.
Alex is
okay.
correct. 15,000
Hype.
points for Alex. Negative 14 for Evan. Alex, great job for staying up to speed on the market. But yeah, Hyperliquid, and then it was Pump.fun. Pump.fun is still super freaking volatile.
That makes
Hyperliquid
sense,
is
though.
not surprising.
Yeah, Hyperliquid's not surprising.
They just hit a high of activity. More traders are doing commodity related markets on decentralized exchanges that use their whatever their engine is. It's like the Hype 3 something. They've got like $700, $800 million in open positions. I was just seeing this morning in Unchained, which is compared to like 250 million a month ago. So you would expect to see them doing well.
Yeah. Also, what's also interesting is because, for those of you who don't know, like the competitor to Hyperliquid is Aster.
Yeah.
And Aster, let's see, in the past 24 hours, actually, I mean, it's up a decent, I mean, it's up 2%, but it's interesting. If you compare the charts of Aster to Hyperliquid, like, yeah, of course, they're both down, but like Aster's done a little bit worse.
Yeah, they just don't have the same liquidity without the incentives.
Yeah, exactly.
The founder of Hyperliquid, Jeff, whose last name escapes me, he's one of the co-founders. It's like Hideas or something like that. Sorry, Jeff. We love you. He said, Hyperliquid has quietly achieved an important milestone of becoming the most liquid venue for crypto price discovery in the world. And I don't think that's hyperbolic. They're using crypto markets, traders, meaning markets on crypto rails, to get exposure to metals, equities, other global assets. According to Unchained, Hyperliquid is becoming one of the main venues where that shift is showing up. Definitely. Makes sense.
Yeah, I know Hyperliquid's on
Pump.fun I can't figure out, though.
Yeah, no, I can't figure it out. It's just like meme coin play, whatever. But I don't know. Like, what coins are you guys looking at that you're most excited for, you know, once you feel good about kind of entering the market? There goes Alex. Evan, what coins do you feel good about to potentially look to buy? I know Hyperliquid's on all of our lists.
So Hyperliquid has been on my list of tokens I would buy and consider opening a position in, and I don't know what it's trading at. Do you happen to know what it's trading at right now?
Oh, I just had it up, but I just closed it. Let me tell you.
Hyperliquid price today. Somebody in the comments will guess it, and surely they will get it right. $27.44. Wow, actually, it's looking good at that price. It's looking real good at that price. Recently hit, oh God, I missed what I would have considered maybe the bottom, $20. But I would still be a buyer. Maybe, looks like it might be planning to do some ranging in this like $20 to $30 channel. So I could be a buyer at 27. I might wait for it to cool off because it looks like it's had a hot like week, you know, big news. So it's big up. Looks like it's up, I don't know, what is that, 20%, you said?
Yeah, I mean, it's up 22% just past 24 hours.
So I'd wait for a little dip, but then I would look for an entry in that. And the other one I would look for an entry into is, any guesses?
The other one?
AAVE.
Yes.
AAVE seems to have left the DAO drama in the rear view mirror for now, but it's been in sort of a price discovery phase. People who've watched AAVE may remember that the all-time high was significant, $500 some on some exchanges, and the current market cap is $750 million. AAVE has been killing the headlines lately. They're about to release the AAVE app in a big way, market it more. I could see something like a Super Bowl commercial from somebody related to AAVE, if not AAVE themselves. I don't know that they would spend that kind of money, but they're behind all of Kraken's like earn on crypto products. They're behind everybody's earn on crypto products. So Avalanche, I was reading a comment about Avalanche. AAVE would be on my buy list long before Avalanche. And I guess I would also add, so I said Hype, AAVE. If I was into making a bet, I could make a bet on Link. Honestly, I could make a swing trade bet on XRP at these prices because, you know, that could pump for any number of reasons. I would probably not buy Avalanche. I would not buy SWE. I would buy Hyperliquid and AAVE because they have the liquidity, because they have the partnerships, because they have the attention and the business and the connections right now. And they have a lot of hype. Other than that, I would just be buying Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol.
Did they solve their internal battling with the DAO, or is it just like quieted down?
No, it's just quieted down so far as I know. And I don't expect, after getting rocked like that, that the price is going to go tremendously further. And if it does, that's why I would DCA. I just don't think the DAO has the same kind of power to disrupt that company's day-to-day operations that, I don't know, you or Alex or I would have to disrupt Rise Up Media if we, just ran away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I got you.
Chelsea says in the comments, Hype looks like it wants to come down to touch the SMA on 4-hour or 8-hour getting too far from them. So maybe it's my moment. What
Maybe
about you?
it's your moment in a handful of hours.
A handful of hours. What are you thinking you might be buying?
I want Hyperliquid. I mean, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, I still buy a little bit every day. And if Bitcoin falls below $70,000, I'll increase that, by 50% or double.
Dude, I'm waiting for ETH to touch 2,500 again. That's what I'm praying for, honestly. I would load up.
Well, you're going to have to fight Tom Lee for that Ethereum at that price.
I know.
That guy's buying a ton of it.
Yeah,
but no, I mean, I'd be interested in Hyperliquid. I'm interested in coins that have revenue in a revenue buyback model. So I like Hyperliquid. I like Maple Finance, which is syrup, like syrup a lot. And if the transactions remain high on Polygon and they put that vote into place that has the revenue buyback along with their burn, I could be interested in Polygon. I'm also interested in Uniswap because they put that proposal in place to have a revenue buyback and burn policy as well.
Yep.
And that's kind of my short list right now. And from a meme play, I'm still interested in Pengu because hell, did you guys see the new penguin meme that like blew up to $100 million market cap?
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah,
what?
It was. It's called Penguin, and it blew up to $100 million market cap.
Why did it do that, Will?
Because Penguin. And so
there are a lot of animal meme coins are having a moment right now. I think the trenches are bored.
But so I'm still interested in Pengu and the Pudgy Penguins ecosystem.
Dude, yeah, you said okay. I feel really good also about those two. The Paul thing, the Uniswap thing. Can you explain, just for people who haven't heard you talk through this yet? You've made some good videos about this, but I think this is a real great investment thesis that pans out, in a way that somebody could start to build conviction around. Can you explain this like tokenomics thing, this bio kind of alignment model? I don't know what you'd call it, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That Uniswap is implementing, that Polygon is considering implementing, and why that makes you bullish.
Yeah, so first of all, let's describe what a revenue buyback model is. So if you have a protocol, it could be a Uniswap, a Polygon, your Ethereum, a Solana, any of these things that can generate revenue by the fees they charge. So if you have an application or a network that makes a lot of money, historically, there hasn't really been a great tie-in of that amount of money that they make necessarily resulting in the price of the token doing great, right? There have been, I would say, way more examples of protocols that have phenomenal adoption, but the price of the token does really poorly, so everyone thinks it's terrible, even though it's crushing it. Polygon's a perfect example of this. And so what a revenue buyback and burn policy is, I'm just going to call it a revenue buyback policy, is you take a certain percentage of the money that you make, and either every day, once a week, once a quarter, once a year or something, you take a portion of that revenue and you go and you buy some of the supply of the token, and then you hold it, right? So you're removing supply from the open market, which actually genuinely does affect price. You have to be careful with the word burn, because a burn is typically used 99% of the time as a marketing tactic to make you think that something good is happening. Because you could have a company be like, we're going to burn 1 billion tokens. People are like, 1 billion? That's so much. It has to affect the price. But there's two things to take into account. Maybe that project has 1 trillion tokens, and also those tokens they're burning aren't on the open market. They're not on spot markets. It's not affecting the price going up and down. It's tokens that the team is holding themselves away from the market. It's not impacting the price. And then they just go, oh, these tokens are gone. And then they look over to see if more people like rush in to buy. Yeah. And sometimes it does, right? So a big burn is almost always a fugazi, right? It's just a big smoke and mirrors thing. But a revenue buyback is totally different, because if someone makes a lot of money, like Uniswap or Polygon or Hyperliquid, right? Then taking a small percentage of revenue and removing that supply from the open market genuinely does impact the chart, price speculation, and how high or how low the token could go. So with that understanding, there are a lot of projects in crypto that are looking at the success of Hyperliquid and going, oh, we should do that. We make a lot of money. We have a lot of adoption. We should tie that to the success of the token a little bit more by also doing a buyback policy. So Uniswap in December voted to introduce a revenue buyback model. Polygon has positioned one for voting, and if it does get voted through, it should go through at some point like the summer or Q3 of this year based on their review process. And it's something that is really exciting from an investor standpoint, because these companies make a crap ton of money and could really be an additional very large buyer in the market, if you will. Now, Polygon specifically is interesting because their daily transactions have really started to spike. And it looks like it's spiking in not just like a big up-down way, but in a very sustainable way, because they're getting so much adoption of all their various solutions from a payment standpoint, from Polymarket, and everything else that they have on Polygon. And so that seems like it could be sustainable. If those daily transactions are sustainable, they have a usage burn. So the more Polygon gets used, the more token gets burned from the fees. So that exists today. Then you add on top of that, Polygon's making more money, which means a potential larger, quarterly buyback policy. That is very interesting. And then a soft thing to take note of is over the past month, I personally have seen way more people talking about Polygon because, we know, we're included in this. They have been, trying to get more people interested in spreading education about Polygon. And that seems to have been kind of turning more eyeballs on Polygon on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and the like. So it looks like they're trying to turn the spotlight to the token, attach it to a revenue buyback model, and also attach the success of the adoption of the company to, price speculation of the token for the first time. So, Polygon could become something really cool from an investor standpoint in the next, 6 to 9 months or so.
Excellent. I'm going to drop an article into the community. I'm talking about community.rumshq.com. It's a totally free place to hang out with all of our friends of the show, and of course us. This is from talos.com. That is a new to me source, but it's got an incredible article published just a couple of days ago about how Uniswap can flip this model that it's had on its head. It's got a number of really great graphics about the revenue they produced over time, the fees, the way this works. It's beautiful, elegantly explained. We'll drop that there so you can ask Will your questions and be informed. Alex, you've had time to think. So now Will and I want to know, what tokens are you watching? And then, of course, we want to hear from you in the comments if there's something that you are looking to buy, if there's something you are bullish about, bearish on. And, of course, if we don't get to it on the show, leave it in the community, community.rumshq.com. Al? You buying anything?
Well, I feel like at this point, you could probably just clip this and put it on the soundboard, and whenever anyone asks me this question, ever, you can just hit the button. It's Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana.
I am a big fan of this.
Got it. Clip it.
So I was just looking in the background here for here's an interesting. Let me throw this up.
Throw it up.
So I think I would agree with one. So there's a few on the list of things that I'm. Oh my God! Yes, I just did a software update, and so now I have to re-enable
Can I clip
every
Alex saying,
single permission.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Yes. I'm saying that. That'd be great.
When did I do that?
Moments ago, seconds ago, maybe
that
30.
Was, subconsciously. Okay, so this is shout out to Llama AI. I just asked it for the top 25 protocols by revenue, and I was hoping I'd have to clean the prompt up a little bit. I was hoping that it was not going to include the stable coins, but we can just reject.
We can roll with it. They're legit, man.
So, if we were to look at I don't know, things that are more protocol-y, it shouldn't surprise anyone. there's Pump.fun, up 30% revenue speaking in the last month. And that kind of makes sense because when the market gets really frustrating or when people are like underwater for a long time, that's usually when you see some sort of like meme run because nothing has the reputation of being able to maybe, hopefully, if the odds are in your favor, just like reversing your fortunes in a market where you're just getting hammered over and over again. And so to me, it kind of makes sense that yet again, Pump is the one who's going to host most of that and going to capitalize the most on that desperation and anger, which turns into revenue for them. Hyperliquid then right there, relatively flat, especially comparatively, considering that like, you know, the big stable coins are all down double-digit percentage points. I had never heard of Edge X until about 8 minutes ago when I first looked this up. But they do a tremendous amount of revenue. It's just like a perp on ETH kind of thing, like access to perps and a few other little tasty tidbits. Sky flat, interesting. They're usually at the up at the top end of this list.
I forgot about Sky. They're on my list also.
The hell is Sky?
They used to be Maker.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I forget about the Maker rebrand. Maker is another one of those tokens that has a model like Uniswap's. Used to be just a governance token, but now...
Yeah, now they have a revenue buyback. They make money, and it was one of the best performing coins in this bear market we've had so far.
Yeah, that's a quiet meta. Everybody's talking about Zcash and privacy, but revenue, buybacks, been sexy the last year.
It is so funny to say that and then isolate it compared to the rest of the conversation that we're here presenting this idea that like revenue that a company in the crypto space makes is important as a hot take.
I saw a comment that goes, oh, wait, tying the success of the platform to a token, do you think that's like the meta going forward? And I was like, it should have been from the fucking start.
It doesn't make any sense that it has at any point ever not been.
I know.
I loved this. I loved this comment from Bravo Coca-Cola who said about your picks, Alex, and this concept generally. What a surprise! A 10-year-old could make those picks. That's the point.
Yeah,
it's hard to mess it up.
Like, I understand that was supposed to be a dig, but like, my entire portfolio is green. Sorry. I mean, if I was being shiesty, I'd say, how does yours look?
My dad can beat up your dad.
Because we could keep going down and I'll still be fine because I have a portfolio that a 10-year-old could pick. Like, that's the point. All I do is look at, hey, where do users exist who are doing stuff? Where are protocols being built that have revenue? And who's making any goddamn money? Oh, yeah, that looks good to me. What are you interested in? Oh, this, that, and this. Okay, do they have any users? Well, no. They have a product? No, well, kinda. Not really. Oh, okay. So they're like getting users, though. It's growing? No, they're hemorrhaging. Oh, okay. Revenue? Are they making any money? Oh, no, they're, they just raised again, though. Like, oh, okay, cool. So they owe even more to a bunch of VC. Okay, cool. Okay.
Alex, but they just filed for a banking license.
Oh, they filed for a banking license. Banks are killing it, man. That's that is a good play. Okay, so they're making money then. No. Oh.
Wait. They're ISO compliant. ISO 20022 compliant.
Oh, sweet.
Aligned.
Okay, cool. Have users and they're making money and they got adopted. No. ISO is meaning. Okay.
Well, they've got a partnership with BricsPay.
Oh,
or at least
okay.
BricsPay is exploring using their network.
Yes. Exploring. Okay.
I read it in a press release.
Yeah. Okay.
This one
I'm
is a
stick to
picture
my
of a
10-year-old.
green snail.
Oh,
a green
snail.
snail.
Now that's compelling.
Green snail.
With blue eyes? That's rare.
By the way,
laser eyes, even better.
Will, the reason that I asked you why did the penguin pump was because the White House tweeted the meme.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Because we live in the upside down and this is all bullshit.
Dude, that sounds like a new chicken crossing the road joke. Why did the penguin pump? Because the White House tweeted the meme? Oh, I gotta work on it.
Why did that coin go up? Because the market got manipulated. That's why. Because some insiders made a shitload of money. That's literally the conversation. Like, hey, you guys, what are you guys up to? I don't know. I'm bored. You want to just make a bunch of money really quick? Yeah, sure. We have the White House Twitter account access. Here, watch this. Penguin. Oh, look at that. I just made $5 million. Oh, okay, cool. Let's do it again next week. Same time, same place. You got it. Off we go.
Dude.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
Don't get me started on that, man. The White House social media is wild.
Anything that's not generating revenue, like or growing in revenue, I'm not interested in. Just straight up. I think that Polygon is an interesting one because they are at a critical juncture wherein the pieces are being put on the board, and now we have to see how much it matters.
Yeah.
And on-chain data shows that there is at least interest in this. Evan and I were talking yesterday about how a tremendous, there's some reporting now that a tremendous amount of like stablecoin and payments volume is, the article said not real. I kind of reject that. I think it just, it matters less than it's being demonstrated to matter. Because a lot of it is just changing between the same hands back and forth. And my counterpoint to that was like, that's kind of how money works. Like one of the reasons that that's one of the things people do with it. They send it back and forth to each other. So if that's happening, I still think that is indicative of like the platform or the protocol being used to do a thing that money is used for. But overall it's definitely presented like differently, like, trillions of dollars have moved. Okay. Yeah. What did that turn into in a revenue? From a revenue standpoint, that's the only thing that I'm really interested in. So that's what I'm curious for. But I mean, this list right here, if you're looking to speculate on something, this is where I would be looking first and foremost, just because there is at least you add another ingredient to the soup that could cause something to increase in price. If the only ingredient in your soup is speculation, maybe with like a dash of hope, then it's just a lot less reliable, and you're kind of waiting for like something that could contribute to the gamble cause to happen so that like enough people have a reason to take a bet on it, and then it's just like musical chairs and first one out is the winner, and then someone's going to be left holding the bag, and that's kind of like, that's the game.
Will, I know you've got to go, so we can continue this discussion after your final thought. Solom had a question for you about understanding stocks being valued at more than their revenue. I'm sure you've got a lot of thoughts for us to watch out for. What do you want to say before you ride your dog and pony?
All I'll say is, I mean, guys, you can make a lot of money if you're paying attention in a bear market with just Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. You can make a lot of money on just those three. You don't have to dive into all the coins. And there will be a lot of coins that outperform from the bottom of the bear to the top of the bull, right? Than those three, just from a market, because the market cap is so large, right? But you can still make a lot of money just keeping things really simple, monitoring those three charts if you're paying attention in a bear market. I mean, I know Amy Street at least was paying attention, but she was, at least in the stream, and she was paying attention last cycle. She bought Solana at $8 and then rode that bad boy up and made a crap ton of money. So you don't have to, there's always like really strong pull to have like a decent size of your money and all these smaller altcoins because the gain potential is higher, but you can really keep things super, super simple and make a lot of money, because as long as you're making more than 10% each year, you're beating the stock market. So, just keep that in your little noggin as you're thinking about, adding your 25th random altcoin to your portfolio and go, oh wait, maybe I've let the wagon run a little bit too far down this hill without pulling on the brakes. Whatever, that's a new saying. Whatever, some saying that makes sense there. But that's it. That's all I have to say.
Okay, we'll see you again on. Take it.
Say those are all assets that you can actively use to do stuff with, even when price action is not on your side. And
correct.
We now have quite a lot of more time that's been added to like the reserve of like how long have these things been operating at a time when there wasn't like just really frothy market conditions. And that's incredibly reassuring. Like if you take the last year, which has been very bad for crypto across like all fronts, and you can look at like annualized revenue going back 12 months for any of these things, and any of them are like doing well, that is unbelievably impressive.
Agreed. But I gotta get going,
you,
guys.
We'll see you on Thursday.
Show. Let's see. You'll see me
or after dark.
You'll see me tomorrow morning, because my flight home is supposed to be tomorrow night.
Okay, great. Ladies and gentlemen, he's your friend and ours, Mr. William Watson.
Hey.
Catch you in the chat, Will. Alex, we had a really good sort of tack-on follow-up question here about how we buy some of these tokens, and I'd really like to dip into this. Rob Newstead, hey Rob, asks, when you guys buy tokens, do you buy some on different networks? So, like, you might need multiple different Sol wallets, ETH wallets to accommodate your buying, so you don't have to convert, is what he was saying. And I think what he means by you don't have to convert is like, let's say I've got ETH sitting over here, and I want to buy a token, but it's on the Solana network, and maybe there's a wrapped version, like, oh, there's this Sol token on ETH. Would I go by that? And I'm curious if you, first of all, do that. Do you buy tokens on networks other than their native networks? Never. You never buy token not on a native network.
No.
I do. Really? You don't buy like ETH on Base?
Okay.
Really?
I wasn't thinking about it like that. That ETH would be the only exception. Now I'm going through.
ETH is also my only exception. Somebody cue the music. The only exception.
But I mean, again, like, go back to the dig about my portfolio a 10-year-old could pick out. It's like that for many reasons. One, they're all making money. Two, I don't think that they're going to zero. So I'm not stressed out about like holding it through a tumultuous time in the market. And three, they all have their own ecosystem where stuff is happening. It's, if Pump.fun is killing it because a bunch of people are burying their sorrows and regrets in the meme coin casino again, what blockchain is that happening on? I don't even have to participate to like get the asset that benefits from it doing well. And the ETH on anything else, I mean, that's like a halfway step, just because the on anything else would be on a layer 2. And the only reason I'm doing that is for efficiency.
I want to explain it a little. You say efficiency. Just explicitly say why you might buy.
It's cheaper.
It's cheaper. Gas fees on ETH are higher, even though they're much better than they used to be. It can be more convenient, faster to use a layer 2 network like Base, like Arbitrum, like Optimism, and your ETH, for the most part, with regard to ETH specifically, you're going to find that there's enough liquidity so that the price is pretty much the same on pretty much any major layer 2 network. Now, if those are jargon terms for you and you're concerned about that, jump in the community. Let's talk about it and unpack it a little more. But I would say any other token, you run into problems with liquidity. And also, often if you're using a major network, like a major layer 2, that's fine. But if you are buying, let's say, Uniswap, I've got this on the screen. Alex, I don't think we need to do a screen share for TikTok, but if you guys need a screen share to process the visual language, let me know. On websites like CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, you can see which networks a token is deployed to. We've talked about this before. Good friend of the show, Matthew, has said, think of tokens on different networks or wrapped tokens like football players in the NFL. You might be a player for the Cleveland Browns. Shout out, Tori. But maybe you get traded to the Cincinnati Bengals. You can't go on the field for the Bengals unless you're wearing their jersey. Uniswap lives on, look at all these different chains: Unitrain, Near Protocol, Harmony, Energy, Sora, Avalanche, and maybe you're an investor over in the Sora ecosystem, and so you've got a Sora wallet, and you're thinking, I've got a lot of money invested in this, I'd rather just buy Uniswap on Sora. But if you do a little looky-loo, you will see, and I'm asking you to take my word for it at this time, that there's not as much liquidity for these tokens on chains where they aren't natively deployed. For example, I clicked into Uniswap on Avalanche, wrapped onto the Avalanche chain. The 24-hour volume here, this is not in millions, this is just dollars, is $113. $113 of Uniswap tokens have traded on Avalanche. That means if you want to come in, the liquidity is $289. So if you want to come in and trade Uniswap on Avalanche and you buy even $100, you are going to move the price of this token. I mean, you're going to run into some serious issues trying to buy and sell Uniswap. We've explained liquidity before as like a puddle of water, and my cup is like my buy. If I'm buying just a couple dollars of tokens, I'm dipping my cup in the puddle, maybe not such a big deal. But if I'm a whale and I try to jump in that puddle, I'm splashing the whole thing everywhere. It's not going to have enough liquidity to absorb my impact. So it's okay to buy tokens on different networks. But the problem you run into, because this crypto stuff is so new and there's not sufficient liquidity everywhere, is if you're buying it on a non-native network, you probably aren't going to experience deep liquidity. You're probably going to experience a lot of friction, maybe high fees, frustrations when you go to sell. You know, imagine you're trying to pour your water back into that puddle and they're like, nope, can't take it. You can't sell. That would suck. You have to bridge, swap. So my recommendation, Alex, tell me if you agree, would be get comfortable using crypto wallets. They're all a little different, but the skills are the same. And if you feel confident using a crypto wallet, then if a token's available on the Solana network, you'll feel confident opening up a Phantom or Soulflare wallet. You'll feel confident funding it from your preferred exchange. Or if you're confident using exchanges, you can get another exchange account. Uphold doesn't work, try Kraken. Kraken doesn't work, try Coinbase, and so on and so forth. That's what we mean when we say become a safe, confident user. It's way easier to navigate that problem as a crypto user. What wallet do I get? Than I have this token on an obscure network. I don't know how to sell this thing. Dude, I still have those Conflux tokens I can't get rid of. I don't think I'll ever be able to sell those things.
You're going to have those forever.
Yeah.
I don't know how to sell this thing.
Anything to add?
Yeah, I think when I first answered the question, I did it a little bit hastily and I didn't fully think about the whole thing. So, in that sense, holding ETH somewhere else, of course, I've done that. I guess the question I would ask myself there is, why do I want this thing anywhere else, whatever it is? And for me, the only way that I would ever answer that question in a way that would get me to buy a token somewhere else would be, there is a DeFi opportunity that looks appetizing.
Or like a game I want to play, like Crypto the Game. We were on all kinds of chains for that.
Yeah. But I guess in that sense, if I'm like using a token for a specific thing and I need it on one chain, I care less about liquidity there because I'm probably not doing that to try to, that's not like a money making play. That's a, versatility of a token play. Yeah, I would have to sit there and think to myself, like, okay, why am I putting it on this blockchain? And if the answer is because such and such a DeFi protocol is growing like crazy and they have a really high incentive for me to do a thing over there, I'd like to participate, then that would be a good reason. I'd be into that.
Yeah. And if you can't sell it, just like I Am Him says, that token, it is an accolade. It is a badge of honor. It is a sign that you were here early before everyone else got here and it was easy.
That's a really nice way of saying it. I like that.
Yeah. You earn the right at that point to come sit down next to me and Alex 20 years from now, and we're complaining in a lawn chair, looking aged before our time, because back in my day, we had to pay gas both ways, that kind of thing. We'll be there, and you can be too. It's almost time we got to ride our dogs and ponies into the sunset, but if you've got a final thought, a last-minute question, a suggestion, a good joke, a word of wisdom, or something else you think would be useful for us to hear today, let us know. And shout out to all the folks in the comments. Human Rights Govern says, y'all's show rocks. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Okay, everybody. What you got? Alex, what you got? You got any? Am I forgetting any important announcements? We've got Azim coming on the show tomorrow for After Dark. Will has moved Market Watch to Thursday. He and Doug will be live to answer your macro questions. I would like to see Doug chart Tungsten in light of the news that there is a mine that might open somewhere in the United Kingdom and might be a good buy, and I'm just curious about it. Property Protection says, I wish gas could be fueled with human farts. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to ding that or gwump it, but I gotta laugh.
That counts for something.
Is Trump and Blackstone tokenizing oil? Oil is already tokenized, but like a penguin token, different people can launch different tokens for assets that exist in the world. The question is whether or not the market will consider this or that token the most credible. And that can be influenced by a variety of factors like liquidity, who's got the most liquidity to back up their token. It could be influenced by demand. It could be influenced by who's got the most money to write the most press releases. I don't know if they are tokenizing oil, but if they do, you know, the White House will probably tweet about it, and that might be the move. Might be the move. We also had a question earlier about Trump Jr. having a meeting February 18th with some financial institutions. I remember what you said earlier in the episode, Alex, about if I haven't heard about it, it's not that like we're some special guys, but we're like so plugged in. And I don't like to use my hard-earned dollars, even if they are a social construct, to buy speculative tokens, because hype to me seems less easy to predict for me than what we talked about this episode. Somebody making revenue? Do people want to use their product? Is something going to make it genuinely valuable, i.e. worth trading my hard-earned dollars for, aside from the right person talking about it? The right person talking about it could be a great speculative move, but you know. Thoughts, Alex?
Yeah, no, I mean, that one in particular, I couldn't care less about. Crypto Twitter, you know, which is a pretty good, you know, pulse check for, you know, what do the more influential voices in the space think, you know, or what's currently, you know, on everyone's mind, what's got everyone all hot and bothered, whatever. Right now, it's pretty much just people realizing that perhaps this government that they thought was going to be an ally to the industry is actually not. Which, you know, I'm glad that someone finally like read something and we've arrived there, but I don't think that whatever any of them say or do right now is going to be considered good. I mean,
shout out to Bearded. Oh, sorry. I thought that was your period. Go ahead.
Just Clarity Act is the great example. It's been touted for a very long time as being the thing that was going to turn all of this around. And then people finally started listening to the 8 people who graduated high school and started reading it for the first time. And they're like, oh, wait, this is actually like really not that great. I can't actually articulate why this is good for anybody. And then Cointelegraph, I'm going to start. This is what I meant to do. I meant to start Cointelegraph with a gwump for tomorrow.
Oh, dang. Okay.
They're starting off in the hole. Dude, every time I read something from them, more often than not, I'm just like, who the hell is running things over there? They tweeted yesterday. It was like, quote, word for word. It had the little like red, you know, emergency light emoji, and it said new. Clarity Act seeks to Clarity Act seeks to divide responsibilities between CFTC and SEC. And I was like, it moved me so much that I even commented. And I was just like, that is one of the dumbest headlines I've ever seen. That would be like me advertising a car as a place to sit down and telling you nothing else about it. Like, here's someone who's never encountered a car before, and I'm like, yeah, it's great, you can sit down. And that's it. It was like, this thing has been out for so long, and they just presented it as breaking news and then like one single line item from this like 400-page document. So, anyway, Cointelegraph can't read yet, but I'm holding out hope that someone over there will crack a book at some point and share something useful. So I don't know. Am I interested in whatever they're doing? No. And actually, I think it's probably more likely to hurt things than anything else because the industry is turning on them.
Bearded said, as a quick fact check, that the meeting in question is happening at Mar-a-Lago, February 18th. We'll gather top influencers from finance and tech, including confirmed speakers like Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon and CFTC chair Michael Selig. And it's rumored that Elon Musk will also be there. So probably
I take
probably
it back.
a hype
I care
event.
Even less.
Probably a hype event. I bet there will be some activity on Polymarket for it. Which, by the way, is anybody betting out there on Polymarket these days?
I mean, yeah.
Anybody active?
I see stuff every now and then, but it's
no. I mean,
no.
in our audience specifically.
Oh no.
Oh no. Somebody, the hype post about Claude Bot, by which I mean Molt Bot, is right now that somebody in the Discord for it has been training their bot to bet on Polymarket, Bitcoin markets, 15-minute markets. They gave it $100, the viral post says, and woke up with $347. Generational wealth. Am I rich yet? Can we retire? But like also like 3.5x overnight, not bad for a robot, for a clanker,
Yeah.
Claude,
know,
man.
man.
My Claude, did I tell you? My Claude got blocked from Google. I made a Gmail for it, and they were like, hey, pretty sure a robot's using this, and we're worried you're going to scam some people. So I said, hey, this is my ethical robot. It's not doing anything without my consent. And I'm still waiting for the appeal to go through. And until then, Claude is just chilling. Multi. I got to tell him his name is now Multi. I don't know what he's going to say about that. I don't even know if it's a boy. Look at us. Oh, my gosh. Have you got a final thought?
I'm so tired. It's exhausting. I am genuinely like so curious to see what the vibe at ETH Denver is this year because it's coming up like it's a weird time.
Faster than I thought.
Yeah, I mean this particular conference has attendance from really small like fringe DeFi things, and then also representation from the biggest centralized protocols and companies and whatever out there. And I'm very interested to see how that goes because like more at odds than ever. Man, yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't have any. I'm exhausted. This whole thing is like exhausting. I just it's frustrating and exhausting. I don't know. I'm sure that's a shared sentiment, but goddamn.
I am looking forward to it. I know it's going to be less attended this year. I see mostly people talking about it in the sense of not going this year. And I think largely it's because the people who attend that conference go to other ETH conferences. I do think the people who are not, which makes me sad because I feel like my friends who will be there are not going to be there. But I do think the crypto industry will continue to show up and show out. They put on a great event every year. If you are in or around the Denver area, check out ethdenver.com. Not sponsored, but it could be. We'll be broadcasting live from Denver, Colorado. I'll be on the ground. Alex will be on the ground. I don't know. We haven't bought the flights yet. We'll figure it out Thursday, but we would love to see you there. It's February 16th through the 20th. Tickets are free. ethdenver.com. If you're thinking about crypto, if you're spending time in the crypto space, I cannot emphasize enough how helpful it is to be in an IRL, real-life gathering of people who are into crypto. I want to get Tori there because I think Tori's people hang out at ETH Denver. Put it on the calendar next year, Tori, or at least some kind of Ethereum conference. You pick one and we'll make sure you get to go because it's very much a better world is possible kind of place. Off topic, she says. My partner just called me. He is delivering mail where he can, but cannot even get to most mailboxes right now. Hopefully everybody is warmer than me, less snowy than him. And that's what I've got. Jump into community.rumshq.com. We will be there 24/7 all day, all the time. If you got a question we didn't answer on the show about a CBDC, about your Bitcoin IRA, or something else entirely, we would be glad to see you there. And until next time, everybody, stay safe, be well, my friends, rise up.